We are a group of ultimate players, coaches and video enthusiasts. We've worked with the major federations and the greatest events.
We're on a mission to make Ultimate huge. We want our videos and live streams to be free to watch.
We want to make stories that not only reach you,
but also reach people outside the Ultimate community.
Like and subscribe, ULTI.TV, the best in the world.
Become a member and fund our work
to cover more events in the future and to bring more stories and live coverage to the eyes of the Ultimate world and beyond.
Enjoying the show? Show your support for the live stream and the people making the show. Buy a super chat or super sticker on YouTube directly. Select your donation and type your message to the world. And share. All donations go into directly funding new shows. Buy a super sticker or super chat now. Thank you.
Real quick sprints, take the disc briskly, sunshine glints off my frisbee crisply, knows how it goes with the sand between our toes. We got both of the pivots and all of the throws. Got to hold the disc and move it at the right time. When you flick your wrist and you're feeling sublime, compose your throws, not discuss fluttery, tricks from the brick and your biscuits buttery. Feel the spirit, stretch every sinew, stream, encourage, yeah, we continue. Take my hand, yeah, come with me, from the disc to the sand, to the beach, to the sea. There's magic in the air. All you have to do is catch it. EBUCC 2022.
The sun shines brightly in the sky on another day here at the European Beach Ultimate Club Championships in the Algarve. We have an open division game, and it's Murcielagos versus Flying Angels Bern. Team from Valencia playing against a team from Switzerland, Bern in Switzerland. Myself, Tom Stiles, alongside Benji Rees out here in the Algarve in the sunshine on a very beautiful day for Ultimate. Benji.
Isn't it just? I tell you what, I must admit, beach tournament in the middle of October, I was sceptical about the weather coming into this.
Yes, me too.
I needn't have been, because this is beautiful. Still yet to see a cloud.
Yes, we are very fortunate. The players are very fortunate. Interestingly, the two teams, I think the weather might have an impact and definitely favours FAB. So FAB have got some big flicks. We see the return of the legend that is Lorenz Stauffer, 29 on his back, and he actually retired from Ultimate after exactly 29 seasons in the game. Just, you know, he was a legend when I started commentating.
And just when you think he's out, they pull him back in.
He's come back specifically for this tournament, and he's still a phenomenal player. So the big discs that Stauffer can bring are a weapon, and there's no wind to compensate for that. The team from Valencia feeling much more confident if there was a high wind. That's not going to be the case today as we get underway. Chapman moves it up the disc field quickly and gets the return pass. Looks for deep options. They're all being very well marked out by FAB at the moment. Bit of pressure on the mark, maybe a tad of contact, but nothing called. It was a drop by Pellier in the end, and it goes now back to FAB with a chance to break on the opening point of the game. Looks downfield. Good open pass, very little breeze. The sand opens up downfield, the disc is there, running onto it, required a big bid, didn't quite get there. The spluttering of sand and the disappointed body language picks themselves up from the dirt.
Vindler wasn't far away, and I think this is probably one that Lorenziordi will want back, because it was there for the score, that first point break.
100% was there for the score, wasn't it? But he couldn't take the opportunity on this occasion. Good break side cut, but wasn't able to find it. Gets it back to Chapman again now. Nicky Chapman sets off at a pace, looks for the deep option, puts it back in the bag for now. Just going that 1-2 quick movement. Oh, and that's a missed cue from Chapman. The option was there, just couldn't connect to the hands of the receiver.
Bit of a, I'm not sure entirely how that went quite so wrong.
They've looked really assured playing the short disc game. FAB with a second opportunity to break here. High stall count, the marking from Murcielagos very, very tight indeed. The team in white from Switzerland moving it around outside the end zone now. Another good cut. This time it's found perfectly, and a good break. FAB taking advantage of the mistakes from Murcielagos.
Yeah, 1-0, breaking on the game's first point. Slightly differing fortunes for these two teams yesterday. For Murcielagos, undefeated, 3 wins from 3. Started off with a Universe point win, 12-11 over Discover Lisboa. Then 13-3, a hammering of SUFC Odin. Before 13-6 seeing off Mr. Frizz. For Flying Angels Burn, they began themselves with a pretty tidy win over Odin, 13-7. From there, their only loss, a 13-10 defeat to Mighty Hawks of Great Britain, and then finishing off with a 13-9 win over Discover Lisboa. So for both of these sides, they've been a little bit up and down. It's tricky to know maybe quite how good they are.
I was chatting to Nicky Chapman before the game from Murcielagos. They practice twice a week on the beach in Valencia. So they've got a lot of that sort of beach pedigree. And I said, does that give you an advantage over the sort of teams that are more used to playing on grass? He said, well, yes, but only in the wind. So on a situation like this, where there is no wind, the deep game, which the grass teams are so used to playing, suddenly comes back into the play, and the zones that Murcielagos practice become much less of a weapon. As we see FAB setting up here, it's just a one-on-one mark. Just waiting for the disc to arrive on the brick mark. Murcielagos with Nicky Chapman spreading out to the far side. Chapman going every other at the moment. Across on that far side is Garcia, taking it to the turf. Delgado, back to Garcia. Two quite short lines here. Miguel Matez flips it forward to Garcia. Garcia looks down the line, sees Ramos cutting, trying to find a way through, but there isn't one. Really hot marking as a big hand comes in from FAB, but they make it their way through and they get it across to the far side. A lot of pressure from the Swiss, but Alex Garcia takes it into the end zone. A real team point from the Spanish side. Utilising the depth of their roster there, and the key play, I think, came from that sensational trailing edge layout from Oscar Delgado. And from there, they're able to pick themselves up, don't get too flustered, too over-eager with it, continue to stay in rhythm, stay in motion, and just flow their way into the end zone for one apiece. Well, this game could have everything here. What a grab that was to keep the disc alive, keep the possession. And they really needed to put that one in, having had those issues in the first point, their first offensive point anyway. Yeah, still lots of time left in this game, even though they are shorter games than we're used to on the grass. 45-minute time caps on, 13-point score cap, and if you're not paying attention, the end really sneaks up on you. Does indeed. So we will be keeping our eye on that. Right now, FAB with another opportunity to bring the disc down the field into the hands of Jordi. Sends it deep. Good leading pass to the receiver, and Christopher Vindler collects in stride, and FAB get another point on the board. They still lead by that opening break. Yeah, that first 0 point of the game, and you couldn't really ask for much more, I think, if you're FAB, because smooth, clean, efficient. It ticks all the major boxes, I think, from a first possession of not just of the game, but of the day as well. 2-1 to, at least on paper, I think, the underdogs. You're calling it that early, Benji.
Given that Murcielagos are undefeated, whereas FAB have managed to drop one game, I think you look at it and say, okay, maybe Murcielagos just edge it, but to me, these two teams are pretty even.
Well, wonderful to be able to bring you the best Ultimate here on the stream, courtesy of ULTI.TV and the team out here at EBUCC. Been made to feel incredibly welcome, as always in Portimão. Big disc finds a way through the middle of the field, slicing its way, Murcielagos. Little flick back. The ever-present Chapman waits. Flat disc across to Garcia. Garcia finds space to continue the flow to Delgado. Delgado rakes across the field. What a disc from Delgado. Expanding the play and finding a receiver in that far corner.
That is money, isn't it? Just sits it out there. You feel like, oh, hello, this is going to go right across the field. That's quite a risky shot potentially, because a lot of chance for the receiver to not have to get there because it's blocked or defended, but waited brilliantly all the way towards the front of the end zone on that far sideline, 2 apiece. After that, just maybe early miscues from Murcielagos. They do seem to have organised themselves a little bit better now. Turned it over twice on their first point, and they haven't turned it over on their previous 2.
So the assist from Delgado, and I think the eventual scorer was Martinez in the 71 shirt. Wasn't very difficult to see with these numbers on the shorts. Vindler kicks us off. Flowing down that far sideline now with Simon. Jake Simon, one of the USA players. Currently is an American Swiss, and the big bid flows across. It's too deep from Simon. And I've seen a couple of times the overshoot into that end zone.
Yeah, yesterday it felt like we were getting all the overshoots into the end zone at the other end, with the wind coming off the Atlantic, pushing discs towards the cliffs, over towards our left-hand side. Not to be on this occasion, and Murcielagos can earn back that early break that they conceded.
Yeah, chance to get back in the lead, get back on serve. Big fake, pumps in. And then good cut underneath from Montaut. Quick flow, little exchange of discs. Almost put that disc too far ahead. Shapes for the flick to the far side. That's the shot they were looking for. The moment he got the disc in his hand, Edmundo Murcia spreading the play, and they look so comfortable in that flow. They've recovered their confidence after that opening point break, and they are now leading this one 3-2.
Just the beach experience there. It's about throwing with touch. You're never necessarily spearing discs onto receivers. You're leading them into spaces a little bit here. And this one just leaning out into it, sitting it out there. The curve takes it past the defender. Dawn completely exposed. And Murcielagos back in front for the first time this game, in fact. 3-2 they lead.
Who was on the end of that disc? Was it Montaut on the far corner, the number 8 shirt? I think it was.
I believe you.
He's getting the stat anyway. Well done. Oh, a dropped pull. Not what they wanted to see. Murcielagos with a chance to take a break here. Short field. Contact made on the disc. A little bit too eager to put pressure on. Luke Neuenschweinder, having dropped the pull, jumps up, takes the mark, and it's uncontested. It's going to be coming back in on 0. Murcielagos with the perfect opportunity to get this pumped in. Gifted an opportunity close to the front. And the end zone, a big bid comes in. It was a little bit floaty from Edmundo Murcia. The big bid came in from FAB, but comes up empty-handed, and it is a break. And Murcielagos are leading this by 2.
You cannot afford to give teams the quality of Murcielagos just free passes like that, because they can be so deadly, especially in the red zone. Here we go, checked in off the stoppage. Harmon looking for options in the end zone, doesn't see one, but happy to take the reset and then just about sneak that past 2 bidding defenders. 4-2 to Murcielagos.
Bright sunshine down here on the beach.
Another glorious morning in the Algarve.
Well, the last 3 points have all gone the way of the team from Valencia here. They were trailing 2-1, now they're leading 4-2. The momentum is very much in the Spanish favour. As we try to dig our sun brolly into the
I was going to
sand.
say, you're really wrestling with that pole, aren't you? Another deep look for FAB, but that doesn't connect.
Well, that's twice they've thrown that deep shot downfield. Twice it's gone into the ground. Jake Simon chasing, but coming up empty-handed. And Murcia collects from the sand, walks to the front of the end zone. Horizontal stack from Murcielagos. And an early cut downfield from Capilla. Another hand comes across. This time it's Eugen Dawn. Doesn't connect. 2 players bidding for the same disc for the Valencia side.
Good communication though.
Montalt sends it. There's plenty of space to collect this. FAB just trailing, and Murcielagos get 4 in a row. They were trailing and now they're up 5-2.
Jordan Ferris with the score. Originally from Bermuda, but now based in Valencia. Played the semi-pro game out in the States for the Montreal Real. And tell you what, if you want a feel-good comeback story, a bit over a year ago, broke his neck in 2 places.
What?
Needed an emergency spinal fusion surgery. But yeah, for him to be out here strutting his stuff and demonstrating as well that he is, still good to go, is after what is, I'm sure, a very difficult rehabilitation process. Full credit to him for that, and demonstrating what a useful weapon he is here for Murcielagos.
So just remind me of the scorer there, Benji.
I believe that is Jordan Ferris.
Yes, it does say Bermuda on our stats, but reports as a Canadian. So.
Bermuda's technically part of the UK, isn't it?
Well, that's interesting. Answers on a postcard. If you know.
I'm gonna do a bit of googling in this. Should we take a little bit of a breather just during this timeout and be back on the other side?
Yeah, let's do that. Here's some messages from our friends. Seems our friends weren't available to talk to you just then, so we're back.
I've done the Googling, by the way. Other search engines are available, apparently. Not that anyone uses them. Bermuda is technically a British overseas territory.
There you go. Deep pull to the centre of the end zone as FAB collect, looking for that first pass gain. Do keep it moving on the far side. The familiar figure of Jan Tenga.
I was going to say, Tenga and Stauffer, they're written deep into the lore of not just Bern and Swiss, but European Ultimate.
Floaty disc, chance to get a point on the board. They'll be the first one in 5 points. Bern, very, very close, and they do keep their heads, keep their cool, and eventually it's punched in.
What I like there is, even though they've got the disc on the end zone line, it's not, we have to score next pass, we have to score next pass. We'll just pinball it around the back, and we can use those quick throw and goes to give someone, a bit more forward momentum generated into the end zone rather than trying to get it going from the standing start. There's that deep shot that really opened things up, kind of craning the neck a little bit. Bringing it down is, I think that's Neunschwander. And then you see, is there a scoring pass available? No, that's fine. We'll swing it, pop it back, and then just, you've got that break space a little bit more open already, so much easier throw into the end zone.
Neuenschwander getting the eventual score. It's always nice to get the score when you feel like you've done all the work gaining the position on the field. Another excellent pull, middle of the end zone. And there's so little wind, you see the flags on the far side of the field are pretty much vertical or flat. As a big shot goes up, high grab, under some pressure, but Juan Martinez brings it in.
Yeah, the Valencia vet, and I say that not just because of his experience, but because he's literally a veterinarian.
Good knowledge.
Thank you. I put it all down to commentary source.
Thanks.
And people filling in their player surveys.
Well, thank you to them as well.
This one, it's that little dish off to the handler running through, so they're catching it, they're seeing the play develop in front of them, their momentum's going forwards as well, so it's easy to step into the throw and put it out into space, and there's decent pressure on the back shoulder there from Flying Angels, but Martinez just able to box out for the score.
So Murcielagos undefeated in the tournament so far, with a 3-point margin here. FAB needing to do something quickly at the European Beach Ultimate Club Championships. Myself, Tom Stiles, alongside Benji Rees, bringing you the action from the Algarve. And getting things going, it's Jan Tenga who floats one forward. It's going to have to be a big bid to keep this one alive. Oh my goodness, there was a disc, there was a hand. But I think the contact with the sand had already been made. And it's not making any claim on keeping that up.
No, I think it's Metzger who's striding deep, and yeah, one hand, one bounce. That's maybe not quite.
Maybe not.
By the way, elsewhere in this pool, the other undefeated side, Mighty Hucks, are up 9-1 on Discover 9-2 now on Discover Lisboa.
Murcielagos with an early shot deep, perfectly weighted, took a couple of bites at it, but then flicks it up from the knees and takes the point. Ramos, the eventual scorer, and I think the deep shot was caught by Jordan Ferris. Brilliant work from Murcielagos, really capitalizing that 7-3 scoreline. It's going to be something that's hard to bring back for the Swiss.
Yeah, and that'll be half-time as well. The instant deep shot, it's fading over towards the far side, the break side, so it's kind of taking the defender out of it a little bit, and then Ferris, no time like the present, it seems. Doesn't matter that he's on his knees, just flip that one into the end zone for the score. 7-3 half-time lead for Murcielagos. Although, they did get broken on the first point, so they are pulling two Flying Angels to begin the second set. And yeah, because, even score, we're going to get the weird half-time change of ends.
Yeah, the wind isn't going to make a lot of odds out here. Stunning conditions on the Algarve. The backdrop of the Praia del Roche over to our left. We are, for those of you who don't have amazing European geography, we're on the south coast of Portugal, with the Atlantic over to our right, and the boats glimmering in the sunshine. You can have a good game of spot the clouds today, Benji, but it's pretty tough.
I was going to say, I don't know how good it would be, because you're not going to be able to see anything, really. Yeah, glorious here.
Wall-to-wall blue skies as the youth of Europe come together for this final flourish in what's been a magnificent year of international ultimate across the world. Brought to you on ULTI.TV. Harms gets down the field to Geordie. Geordie back to Harms. Surveys the options, floats one forward. That was a lovely cut. Just ducks away from the defender into space, found in stride. FAB continue. Now it's with Geordie. There is an option in the end zone, but it's going to go back for the dump. Has a little finger touch on that, almost got the block. The cuts have dried up for FAB. Then one arrives. Looking for some way out of that low to the knees. Front corner, and it's caught. Luke Neuenschwander gets it up quickly, and Jake Simon on that front line, keeping it in for a first point of the second half.
How audacious is that throw? Falling over almost, but sees the window, backs himself to take it on, and rightfully so, it turns out. Here's Negri looking for the throw into the end zone, but doesn't see it, so takes the reset back off to Neuenschwander, and quickly gets that one out. It's a little bit behind, but the reaching snag is made regardless by Simon. 7-4. Nice to get a good clean hold to start on that first point of the second half for FAB, although, as you can see, the margins they're playing in are so tight because of the pressure that Murcielagos are creating defensively.
Now, we can see Lorenz Stauffer down here on the sideline. He has been doing some coaching, but he hasn't taken to the field yet, and he's dressed in a way that makes me think that he might not take the field as well. Murcielagos, at the moment, they are the dominant side here and in the pool, looking very good. The team for Valencia, Nicky Chapman on the far sideline, gets it back to Garcia. Great timing of the cuts from the team in red. Spreading the play now to Maltese. Chapman looks up the field. There was an option there, but the good positioning of the FAB defense prevents that from going. Garcia, Chapman. Nice sideways cut. Chapman just busting free. Very slight figure. Very effective across the sand. Oh, the disc was too far. It was nearly caught by Miguel Maltese, but nothing coming up there, and it disappears into the sand. An overthrow, and FAB with an opportunity.
It was weird because they feel like everything was operating so smoothly. It was almost an inevitability that they were going to score in the end, but maybe they just got too nonchalant with it. It's a bit FAB's first break since the game's first point. Were they able to put it in?
Findler gets it down to Metzger. Metzger continues the flow to Tenga. Tenga looks up, doesn't like what he sees because there's nothing there. Gets it now down to Vindler. Vindler floats it into the end zone. There's going to be a bid, and there's going to be a block in the end zone, saving the point. Horizontal defense. You're not going to be able to get that one past the Murcielagos. The outstretched hand of Oscar Delgado denying.
The two number 11s going up against each other, and Delgado gets the better of Dawn. Brilliant layout. Knew that that's the only way they're going to stop the score is to fully commit to it, and he gets his just rewards.
Chapman, once again, horizontal cut coming out of the horizontal stack. So it was a diagonal cut coming out of the horizontal stack, but clearly very well worked formations and patterns here, and a float into the end zone. Oh, it's beautifully done by Murcielagos. FAB just chasing shadows here. But Juan Martinez, eventual scorer.
Yeah, that's the first time we've seen Murcielagos turn the disc over since the game's first point. But they were able to get it back, and at the second time of asking, again, just that slick, fluid offense that we've seen so often from them. There's that layout bid from Delgado. Gets that so clean as well, and enough of a hand to swat it out of the sideline. And then, with the disc back in hand, gets that little upline cut in the power position, rolls the wrist across it, and the defender tries to come into help from the backside, Metzger, but there's nothing he can do. That's Martinez's all day long.
Was that Delgado again with the assist? I think it was. So it's block and assist, double happiness for Delgado. Having a good game out here on the sand. It's an 8-4 scoreline. Flying Angels Bern, one of the top teams in Europe for very many years, are in a bit of a pickle here. The sand specialists from Valencia coming up with all the answers. Now the deep shot comes, chasing it down. Can he get there? Yes, he can. Magnificent work from Luke Neuenschwander. It was a big question to ask, but he never gave up, kept the eyes locked on that disc.
I'm not sure whether he needed necessarily to lay out at the end, but I guess he felt, I'm going to be much more comfortable if I do, rather than trying to really reach out and scoop it in I can commit to the layout here on the sand, get the comfortable clap catch, back myself not to get the ground strip on the landing, and nice speed across the sand there from Luke Neunschwander, who is, making his presence certainly keenly felt, I think, for the Angels.
They're not out of this one yet, but they do have the work to do. Trailing by 3 out here.
Pull coming in at an awkward angle, but well fielded by Murcielagos.
Garcia. Flicks across to Chapman. Chapman finding space, and this is so typical of what Murcielagos have been doing all day. Hard running, but really good formatted cuts. They know what they're doing, and again, Chapman finds Martinez in the end zone.
FAB have just not found a way to shut Martinez down on those deep cuts. Again, it's that same sort of pattern. They give that throw, that power position up line, and there's only one option really in mind when they do so. It's Nicky Chapman, and again, just that roll curving backhand, bit of fade on it towards the far side, taking it out of the reach of the defender. And Martinez is undeniable, it seems.
They're just so good at getting into that power position, aren't they? Because coming up the sideline, they've got several handlers who've been able to get themselves free almost at will, and their patterns are leaving FAB never really near the disc at all. So it's a brilliant demonstration of what good beach ultimate can be. Murcielagos sending the disc into the FAB end zone. Murcia with that first pull, and then the grab comes out of nowhere. Murcielagos almost baiting that throw, fading to the far side, and Montalt comes up with the grab in the end zone. Brilliant break for the team from Valencia.
That time just striking while the iron is hot outside the end zone. I think maybe, just FAB caught a little bit cold-cocked there, to be honest. See, they get that first pass off, and then this will be a nice simple nope. Charging down the pull, rewarded for getting down the other end quickly, and then he just makes the eyes with Montalt, does Capilla, and again, it's just putting it out into space. Defender doesn't really have time to react. And Murcielagos extending their advantage, doubling up FAB at the moment with a 10-5 lead.
Beautiful conditions out here in Portimão, and Murcielagos send another disc down the way of Flying Angels Bern, who now look like this game is out of reach for them. They trail by 5. Metzger, floaty disc, that's going to gain a lot of yards, but they've got a bit of work to do yet. And Murcielagos sprinting to catch up. Martinez trying to take a good position here. Disc comes around to Vindler. Vindler returns the pass. Metzger. Vindler again. Lefty put to Metzger. The Vindler continued the cut, reaching up to keep it active. Neunschwander. And eventually they do connect. A little bit of 1-2, but looking tired out there. They've managed to get this one back to 10-6.
Yeah, I like the idea of just maybe slow playing it a little bit, because we saw how quick across the sand Murcielagos are. So I think sometimes as well you get sucked into playing your opponent's game a little bit, because Murcielagos tend to move the disc quickly, make these big expansive slashing cuts. You feel like you need to do the same as well, and while we've seen that FAB are certainly very competent at doing so, sometimes it's nice just to, you know, slow the tempo down a little bit. See if you can just feels like you suck the air out of the game ever so slightly with those much calmer holds.
Aussie Metzger with the score. Neuenschwander with the assist there. The breaks, apart from that opening point, which went was a break to Flying Angels Bern, the breaks have all gone the way of the team from Valencia. Murcielagos. Chapman just repeating what he's been doing all game, those devastating cuts up the line. Now he's in a position further up the field, potentially going for the deep shot. Returns Chapman in the middle of the field, spreading the play. Oh, delicious, absolutely delicious from Murcielagos.
Yeah, good recognition there from Tenga, trying to peel off and get that poach block at the front of the end zone. But what I like is the discs go up. They go up nice and early. It's as soon as they see the plant and turn, the disc is released. Got a load of touch and finesse on these throws to space, so they're comfortable to run down. You see, just bang, plant, disc goes up, keeping it moving quickly. The defenders don't really get a chance to adjust and stop their momentum. They're still going in the other direction by the time the disc's on its way up and out there. And at the moment, they are just humming right now. 2 turnovers on the first point, 1 turnover since then for Murcielagos. Ominous form, I think, for other teams this weekend in the Open Division.
And what I really like is that they said that if in a strong wind they feel like they've got a bigger advantage, but with no wind at all, they've looked like they're in a different class already. I mean, it's really impressive. And they're not doing complicated stuff. They're doing simple stuff, but they're doing it so well that Flying Angels Bern aren't able to get anywhere near a block. This one's going to be a little bit out of bounds. Does look for a moment like it was going to be a good pull as the players on the sideline are slapping on the sun cream. The October skies over Portimão, cloudless, the sand warm but not too hot. Flying Angels Bern walking it up to the brick mark. Chapman spreads the wings to try and stop the block. Vindler with the disc gets it back to Harms. Harms, the captain of this Flying Angels Bern side, receives the disc back in the centre of the field now. Gets it down to Neuenschwander. Little flick throughs is much better from Flying Angels Bern, floating it into the end zone. Time to get there. Oh yes, there is, and reel it in. They're playing Murcielagos' game in that point, and it's really starting to work for them.
Monkey see, monkey do, I guess. You know, I think for Beach, there is a style that always seems to work, and it is about getting those throws out nice and early, getting touch on them, keeping the stall counts low. Happy to utilize the swings, those little inside channels, because if you can get some break side flow going, it's so difficult to get across and close that gap on the force. And that time, ruthlessly exploited by the Swiss for a 7-11. But as you said, they need breaks if they're going to come back in this game, and they need them now.
It's been such a clean game. I think very, very few turnovers. Murcielagos have only got 3 turnovers in the entire game. Their D-line hasn't turned over once. Flying Angels Bern's O-line's turned over 5 times. But still very high quality ultimate. As the team in red from Valencia, with Maltese getting it back to Delgado. Big shot into the end zone. Martinez the target, reaches up a second time, almost sucked the defender in with that first grab. Lorenz Jordi went up with him. Neither of them came down with the disc, but at the second time of asking, Martinez is good for the goal.
Yeah, first time, you're right, they are, I think, too far underneath it, really jostling with each other. But it's the position that Martinez takes here. It means that the defender has to go up nice and early to try and get a shot at it, and he very nearly got there, but good focus, keeping his eyes on the disc there from Martinez, and he brings Murcielagos within 1 of the win.
Yeah, game to 13 out here at the European Beach Ultimate Club Championships. 45-minute time cap as well, but we're not going to trouble that. This is looking good for the the team from Valencia. Just 11 on their roster, which I think they don't see as a problem as long as they're only playing 3 games a day. I think if they're playing 4 games a day, that starts to become a bit of an issue. But I think if they're top of the pool, they will get their wish and only have those 3 games. And there's another disc from Murcielagos has gone out of bounds. It's the 2nd time in a row that they've pulled out of bounds.
I think while you're winning games and winning games at a decent pace as well, that, you know, those numbers don't necessarily hurt you so much. But as you get into the bracket, games are likely to be tighter, closer, more intense. You do wonder whether they might benefit from the extra legs. But you could also say that we've got 11 players that we really trust. We've got excellent chemistry. Why add someone else to the group just for the sake of it?
And they really have worked it through the whole team here. Very well organised O-line and D-line. Everyone operating at 100%. Eugen Dawn to Vindler. Vindler sends it. 2 players underneath this, and that's going to be a turnover. A chance to take the game on a break here for Murcielagos. The D-line starting to fire. Not a chance to get underneath that. Just a little bit of bumping. Ferris sends it across the field. Harmon. Now it's here, and it's there, and Ferris brings it in for the goal. Ferris brings it in for the game. Murcielagos stomping their way to a 13-7 win over Flying Angels Bern. And the team from Switzerland heads down. They've been defeated heavily here on the sand.
A statement victory there from Murcielagos. And Ferris throws the pink Eurodisc high into the sky in celebration. There's the turn. They're just thrown into double coverage. Picked off by Ferris, who earned himself a bookends there with the score. You see again, keeping the disc moving quickly and then happy to look. Doesn't matter, okay, we can't see anything downfield necessarily. That's not a problem. We're happy to swing it around the back, get the underneath pass. That leading throw to a handler, you know, running through, seeing the play develop in front of him, catch it, and it's out of his hands in a flash and in the hands of Jordan Ferris for the 13-7 victory. A very, very strong performance there from Murcielagos.
So hard to keep track of the disc when Murcielagos are playing, because they've just moved it so quickly from player to player to player, and really impressive stuff. Now, because this game's finished early, we can tell you a little bit about the tournament that's going on around the place, and also give a little plug to our good friends ULTI.TV. All the coverage that's been brought to you here, courtesy of ULTI.TV. They've been around Europe and around the world this year, and all of that work is funded by the tournaments that we go to, but also by the fans at home. And if you'd like to be part of the supporting group for ULTI.TV, you can go to patreon.com/ULTI.TV and become a patron. For the price of a cup of coffee each month, you can help support the growth of Ultimate through live coverage across the continental Europe.
So looking at the Open Division, this is Open Pool B. Murcielagos and Mighty Hucks, both undefeated, 4 wins from 4 at the top of this pool, and they'll play in the next round of open games to determine who goes straight into the quarterfinals and who will have to play a pre-quarter. It looks like Salaspils will top Pool A, Fendisk and Sandjob battling it out to take 2nd place in that pool. In Open Pool C, Jet Set undefeated with 3 wins from 3. They're currently playing up against Chronicle Dizziness of the Netherlands, and they are 11-9 to the good. Ray Flying Oysters also in with a shout there.
It's probably worth saying that Salaspils versus Sandjob is our next open game. So that Pool A?
Yes, it is.
The Pool A matchup between those top 2 sides. Salaspils is a great opportunity to see them. They're looking very, very good for the tournament. Can they repeat their high-quality performances against the Irish team, Sandjob?
But in Pool D, Solaris the only undefeated side, but they're currently locked in a tight game, only 1 point ahead of Vitchafors, so that pool still very much up for the grabs. Any one of 4 teams could end up taking that.
It has been one of the marked things about this tournament is how evenly spread the talent has been. And of course, a lot of these teams haven't played an awful lot of beach in the last couple of years, so just finding their sand rhythm again has been tough. It does mean that a team like Murcielagos, who've been able to put together 2 practices, sometimes 3 practices a week, on the sand every week, have got a really advantage here, and they showed that today, beating one of the sand legends from Switzerland, Flying Angels Bern, 13-7. There'll be lots of more coverage coming from the action in the Algarve. The European Beach Ultimate Championship, Club Championship, continues here in Portugal. So do stick around and catch some more of that coming up soon. From myself, Tom Stiles, alongside Benjamin Rees. We'll catch you again soon.
ULTI.TV, EBUCC lyrical.
Vielen Dank. Merci beaucoup.
ULTI.TV